The main thing is, I want to thank you for coming out here and being the Texas State Guard. You know, I've got 429 folks here in beautiful Brownwood, Texas. Of course, the town of Brownwood loves us. And I think what you all do while you're having your AT this weekend lets Brownwood know that the state of Texas, the Texas military forces are here to help them if they need us to. And if they don't, that's fine too. They just have to have the knowledge that we're here to help them in time of need. And any Texan. Your job is to serve Texans in time of need, and not only in time of need. I like these lights, I can't see anybody. But also train Texans day to day. There's a lot of things that we do, you know, Operation Lone Star. That's a time of need. But that's where we get to give back to Texas a little bit and help folks down the valley. We're talking about doing Operation Lone Star in other parts of Texas because the valley's not the only needy place. It's tough because there's only so much of us to go around, and there's plenty of need in Texas, especially for our citizens that don't have everything else that everybody has. If you're watching the Gulf right now, I keep your eyes peeled on that because, what's that, Debbie? Debbie hadn't figured out which way she's going yet. And if you look at the models, straight north, kind of northwest, or coming over to us. I was just at North Command, for those of you who don't know. The United States is covered by Northern Command, and they're responsible for the United States, Canada, and Mexico. We met with 5 Mexican 3-star generals up at NORTHCOM in Colorado Springs with the NORTHCOM commander. We talked about what we would do if a hurricane, a Cat 3 or 4 or 5 came right up the valley, right across the valley, and just dumped water on both sides. And you know what? The military folks in Mexico are like the military folks in the United States. Let's just get it done. But we sat there and said, if citizens on either side of the river need help, we've got to figure out a way to help them. You can't be sitting in an American helicopter on this side watching somebody trapped and drowning on the other side and not help. They said the same thing. So we've got to get our governments to do that, and they can do it, and they do that. Sometimes it takes a couple of days. So we're talking to them about what happens on a no-notice emergency. We don't have any warning. And a hurricane, if you remember Hurricane Ike, and I do because I chased it from Brownsville to Beaumont and back and forth, and finally we ran back to San Antonio and said, just decide, Ike, what are you going to do? Ike decided when we came in. Well, any hurricane can do that, so as far as where it hits is a surprise because it's usually about a 12-hour deal. Could be an earthquake. But if something happens down the valley, we are working on a way so that we can go across, they can come across. Because they asked us, what about Hurricane Rita and Katrina when the Mexican Army came up and they were at Lackland Air Force Base helping the folks that came over from Louisiana, all the thousands that we had in San Antonio. So every time I go visit another country, I realize that they're just like you and us. All they want to do is make sure their families are safe, their kids have a future, and there's an economy they can stand by. And then the rest of the Texas citizenry, because as we say, politics is local, but all disasters are local. They start local. Even in the fires. Folks did not understand last year we had 29,000 fires in Texas. We burned 4 million acres on purpose in Texas. That's Connecticut, or 2 counties in Texas. These skill sets, but I want them to be known, advertised, and us always ready to go. And that's what you're doing. By being here in Brownwood, showing the folks right here the capability.